Hello, Internet friends. Welcome to the Player 2 Joined podcast with me, Napyet, and Serious Creeper. Hello, sir.
Hello. Hello.
Are you a co-host, or are you the lead host, or am I the lead host, or do we have to fight for it, or are we equal in this venture?
I think we're equal.
Okay.
I think we are one. We're like one entity
I think we should fight.
with two minds.
I was listening to a podcast the other day. It's always weird, like one guy, they're equal partners, and there's no question about that. They share the same load, do the same amount of talking, but someone always starts and then says, and my co-host, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then it always makes it seem like the person who speaks first is the main one, and they have a sidekick. I always think that's not fair,
yeah.
so maybe we should alternate it each time, like I say.
Well, yeah, that works then, I guess. Last time I did the intro. This time you did, so.
All right, okay.
Next time we need to do it at the same time, maybe.
Yeah, we'll read from a script and start at exactly the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so shall we talk about what we've been playing? Because that's been similar for both of us, really, in the last month or so. You've been playing a lot of Fallout. I've been playing a lot of Fallout 4.
Yes, this is the Fallout edition of this podcast.
Yeah, kind of. Well, I started playing Fallout 4 when it first came. I'll do like a potted history, my history with Fallout 4.
Sure.
And then maybe you can tell us where you're coming from with it. But I played when it was first released and definitely felt underwhelmed with it. I felt like the story's not gripping me. It's not different enough from the previous Fallout game. It seemed kind of quite old in terms of the graphics, and the engine seemed dated. For some reason, it didn't grip me. So I kind of shelved it for a long time. And then started doing YouTube videos and did a Skyrim video, and people who like Skyrim like Fallout. So I thought, right, well, okay, I'll give Fallout another go. And then I think it was you who started talking about this mod called Horizon.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought, well, something in-depth survivally. I've explored that a little bit in Skyrim, so I'll try that. And I did. And that's quite recent for me, so... But I kind of jumped in, as you know, very blind with it. And it's probably one of my failings. I don't do a lot of research before I jump into things. I should probably do more. And on this particular occasion, like, as you were trying to tell me kind of all the way through, I got the sense from people who were commenting that I'm doing this wrong and I needed to have more education about it. And basically, I couldn't get anywhere with it because it demands that you know the new systems that it puts into the game and how it changes the game in order to get anywhere. But that was really fun doing, and I think there's some benefit there in people do seem to watch you screw up and enjoy watching you screw up. So I don't feel like it was a complete waste of time. And then after that, I decided, you know what, I want to do all the things that I couldn't do with Horizon because I'd never completed the game. So I went through and just completed the vanilla game. And I don't know whether it's changed since it first came out. They've added new things, or whether my expectations are more realistic. But this time I felt like, yeah, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the story more. And I just kind of knew what to expect. And I just wanted to see the story. And I found it very enjoyable. And I'm still playing it on and off after completing the main story. And
right,
that Bethesda thing of like, yeah, the main story is not the end of the game. It's like maybe 20% of the game, and there's 80% still to explore. Pretty amazing what they do in that respect.
Yeah, the main quest is usually not. Yeah, I feel like, well, I haven't finished it yet either. I'm like trying to go through the main quest right now too, but it's not super interesting.
It's not.
Like, I find there's a lot of like side quests that are just way more interesting and it's like a nice, small, compact story. But you do kind of get to run into all these side things during the main quest because it lures you to all kinds of different places, right? It kind
Right.
of forces you to get past certain points and discover new areas that now can lead to interesting side quests.
Well, did you watch that No Clip documentary with the making of Fallout?
I only watched the one for Fallout 76.
Right. Well,
think.
Todd Howard was talking about that, saying that part of the design we wanted to, in the course of the main quest, have you introduced to all the major kind of factions in the game through the course of the main quest. And I don't want to spoil it if you're not there yet, but you do come across a lot of the key story threads and key groups that are operating in the Commonwealth through the course of the main story. So in that respect, I think it kind of works. And you after the main story, you think, oh, those guys, I never went back there. What's their deal and stuff? Like with the railroad is a good example.
Yeah.
There are others as well. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what is your feeling. So you a bit underwhelmed with the main quest at the moment. Do you think that, how much of that do you think's to do with the fact that you kind of know what's going to happen?
Not too much, because I mostly know the ending of the main quest, sort of. I don't know much of the in-between. I mean, I don't, dislike it at all. Like, I'm having a lot of fun, actually, just playing Vanilla Fallout right now and doing the main quest. And trying to avoid all the side quests. That's so difficult, though. Like, there's always like, oh, this looks interesting, but no, focus on the main quest. That's what I'm doing here. Yeah, I don't know. I just seem like it just feels like a little bit. I always find like some quests they just delay them for the purpose of being longer. Like they just add something to make it feel longer, but it doesn't actually add much to it. No interesting stuff. It's like, oh, go over here now, go talk to this person, and then that person needs you to talk to this person. You go across the map to the completely other side, opposite side. But it's still fun. I mean, I don't know. I had the same as you though. Like when the game came out, the first time I played it, I played about 30 hours. My mythical 30-hour limit for games.
Yeah, you got the 30-hour itch.
Yeah, seem to lose interest. So it was the same. I played it for 30 hours, and then I made it to Diamond City at that point, because I did explore a lot of like the upper part of the map first before I made it down there. And then just arriving Diamond City, it's like, oh god, all these people, all these quests, it's too overwhelming. And then I stopped playing until recently too. And actually, it was your main quest, or not main quest series, but your vanilla series, where I was like, yeah, you know what? I never actually played it through, or through the main quest in just vanilla Fallout 4. So I may have to do that. Just go back to it and try it out. And yeah, I'm just enjoying it more now. I don't know. Maybe it is, like you said, just different expectations. Or maybe it's because I messed with mods so much that now it feels different enough just playing vanilla. I don't know.
Yeah, there's something weird going on, because we were talking about that, like how it can be that the game was underwhelming for both of us, and you tried to address it with mods, and because something was lacking in the game, and that worked for a while, and then I don't know, in the process of doing that, maybe the game endears itself to you and makes you want to, I don't know, play it, go back to the vanilla version. Maybe I judged it too quickly or something. But I think we're both the same sort of. There's something I was expecting more from this. I just don't think it was different enough when it came out, because it's the first big Bethesda single player RPG since Skyrim. And if you think about what a big leap between what was before Skyrim, was it Fallout 3? It was Oblivion.
Yeah, well, it was New Vegas, but that wasn't Bethesda, right? That's Obsidian.
Yeah, so it was Oblivion, Fallout 3, New Vegas, Skyrim, and then I think 5 or 6 years between Skyrim and Fallout 4, and I think...
When did Skyrim come out? 2008?
Where are we on? I thought it was 2011.
We have the internet, we can Google.
Yeah, 2011.
Yeah, so 4 years later.
4 years later. Okay, so it's not quite. I've inflated that in my brain for it to be longer.
It did feel longer, though. I mean, since the last Fallout, it was definitely a while, right?
Yeah.
3 came out in 2008. Maybe that's what you're thinking of.
Long enough to feel that in the intervening time, enough games had come out that kind of seemed far more advanced than Skyrim. You think, right, once Bethesda gets back to a big single-player game, it'll probably take advantage of the new capabilities with graphics and new resources that systems have available to do more impressive things, and it seemed very similar. I think that was the main reason it didn't grip me first. But yeah, having played through it again, I mean, like, I was just watching your one with the course thing, and after you'd killed the courser and you talked to the girl in the cave who's trapped away, who's a synth, and you started talking to her, and you're talking to the back of her head. She looks like Cousin It. She's not even face.
A lot to me this for some reason.
So much in these games, and that's why I keep thinking I can't take these Bethesda games entirely seriously. I'm not sure I want to, for one, because I enjoy the silliness of it, but I do feel like how can these games be so buggy when they are so AAA published games? I mean, I got to the father, just the funniest bug in my playthrough, the vanilla playthrough of the main quest line for me was, I got to father, who, I don't want to spoil this for you.
I know what happens, sort of, so it's fine.
So I got there, and that's the thing you've been looking for, Sean. And so this is a big moment when you speak to him after all this time. And I was wearing power armor, and as it does, it cuts between the two. So it's his face. It's a two shot over your shoulder, his face, and then when you speak, it flips and every time it flipped back to my face, my character did this kind of weird bug where he stuck his arms out like a bird, and his head sort of half disappeared into the power armor, and then jump back up again, and it happened. Sorry, I hit the microphone. I was doing the bird thing with my arms, and this happened every single time it cut away to my character. And this is in the midst of the most meaningful, poignant part of the main quest line. I just thought, okay, I hope I have a good sense of humor, and I'm finding this funny, but it is kind of absurd. If you're trying to create impactful, meaningful moments in games, you got to iron that stuff out. If that is your intention, this is meaningful and emotional and should move the character. You can't have that kind of stuff happening. It defeats your fundamental purpose in that moment. And so the bugs are funny, except when they really Bethesda is really kind of shooting itself in its foot, because the thing it set out to do, I'm using too many metaphors in speech here, but they've kneecapped themselves at that moment. They've just shot themselves in the knee, but they can't achieve it because whether it's the way it's coded or it's an old system or whatever it is, but there are so many of these bugs, and for comedy value it's great. In terms of them achieving their goal of making a poignant moment in storytelling, it fails abysmally. In that moment, and you can't do that again. That's the thing. I could reload, do the dialogue again, probably avoid the bug, but once it's happened, you don't get that moment again, over again. The impact is lost. So that's pretty important stuff in games, in storytelling, and I think it was a little bit of a shame there.
It is, yeah. And I guess it's like, it's an open world game. Those are ridiculous from a amount of work. But it also doesn't help that they're using an engine that's extremely outdated, and they still haven't updated it in so many years, all these bugs that are, because you notice that like those bugs exist across all those games,
Yes,
right?
they're exactly the same types of bugs. You'll see physics bugs that are the same in Skyrim as in Fallout 4. Some of the corpses, the way the corpses behave, you can tell it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing.
And it's based on the same engine that they used back in Morrowind, which is 16 years old. They just keep like, modifying it over time to update it with new things, but it's still like these underlying bugs are still there.
I think that's one of my worries with Fallout 76 because again, in that No Clip documentary, they were talking about, they took that engine, brought in some guys who are experienced with multiplayer and said, convert this engine into one that works in terms of multiplayer. So you're converting an already notoriously finicky, buggy engine into something that works in multiplayer. I don't know. Are we in for the most hilarious multiplayer game ever? That's with all the Bethesda bugs going on, or is it just going to be a real mess? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be tons of new bugs that haven't been there before, because I think they talked about how currently the engine, the way it works is like your actor is the center of everything. Everything resolves around your actor. If the actor doesn't exist, nothing runs, nothing gets processed, etc. Now that there's multiplayer, they need to do it where the world keeps running no matter who's there. You're not longer the center piece of that game world. And I don't know how long did they have to test this, I don't know how long they have been working on this internally. I mean, it was supposed to be part of Fallout 4, so it has been a couple of years, but that's still like, 3 years is not a lot of time for, a multiplayer game and like implementing a whole network engine into their existing buggy engine and not having it tested with a bunch of people. I don't know. I mean, luckily it's not a massive multiplayer game, right? They have limited amounts of people on this world. I forgot what it was.
I think it was 12? Something like that. 12. I had 16 in mind for some reason.
Oh, 16. 16 probably makes more sense if it's teams of 4 players or something. So it's not like, it's that's easier to test internally. They can have internal testers for that. It's not like you're playing, with thousands of people on one server.
Right.
But still, I don't know, man. I'm sure we'll see a lot of funny things happening there.
Like I was saying, in a game that is a multiplayer game like that, there's less emphasis on story. So maybe those scripted moments, it won't matter so much. There will be fewer occasions where the buggy engine can kind of scupper the narrative in that way. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you think you'll go through and do a full playthrough of the main quest on your YouTube channel of Fallout 4? Is it gripping you to that extent?
Yeah, that's what I've been doing, right? And I've been up to episode 20 by now, I think.
Cool.
Like on my end. I don't have them all released yet, but yeah, I also recorded differently. Because it was more like it's kind of shame that I started this way now I think about this. Like, I kind of regret it. But it was like, I was at 4 a.m. I think I was watching one of your episodes and I was like, yeah, I'm just going to play through Vanilla 2. I should do that. So I started that up at like 4 a.m. I was super tired.
Right. I was watching that video, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, what's the dumbest name for this? Because for me, it was more like this is like a throwaway save file. Like, I just want to go through it and then be done with it. So I'm like, okay, I don't want to come up with a name. I just call him Vanilla Man. And just pick, I think it's a preset face. I'm not entirely sure. But then I made it out of the wall and I was like, damn, as a content creator, I can't play games without recording. So I'm like, I'm just going to record this anyway. And usually the way I did it was like, I have, for example, my Horizon stuff or something, Horizon playthrough, I usually have sort of a plan of what I want to accomplish in an episode and then try to, cover this in like half an hour to 50 minutes maybe. I'm kind of going longer nowadays with these games just because they take so long. But so there's always like a start and end, right? I have an outro, intro, blah, 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 blah. This time I was like, no, I'm just going to do it as like, just hit record, I play for 4 or 5 hours while talking and stuff, and then just cut them into pieces.
Right.
And that's just been way more chill and fun to do in this kind of playthrough, because, it was like, I don't think anyone's going to watch this. Everyone already has played through the main quest. There's nothing different about this. There's no mods in this other than, the UI stuff or whatever. But yeah, it kind of has become one of my favorite series right now.
Yeah.
Because of that, just because it feels so relaxing to me and fun to just go through. I don't need to stress about anything. Like in Horizon or something, I always feel like, oh god, I need to know these things, or if I make a mistake, it's a pretty bad thing. In this one, it's like, sure, I have 600 ammunition for this gun, for my pistol. I can just do whatever I want. I don't even need to aim properly. I'll just fire and it's fine. So yeah, that has been a lot of fun. And now I'm kind of almost feeling that once I'm done with the main story, I just came across so many interesting places that I never knew before. Mm-hmm. Like a vault near the glowing sea I've never known about, because I've never made it to the glowing sea before. So now I'm like, okay, maybe after the main quest, maybe I should just keep playing with this character and just do the side quest stuff. But yeah, I'm not sure yet.
I think so. That's the stage that I'm at. I didn't record any of the main quest, and now I just jump in and sometimes record, sometimes not. But some just wander around. Like the glowing sea is a huge area. There's loads in there, loads of stuff to explore in there.
Right, and I would love to go back there and just run around the glowing sea for hours and explore all of it instead of just going to the main quest, areas.
Yeah, and then you mentioned Nuka World, wanting to do that, and I want to do that.
Oh, yeah.
And
at this point, I totally forgot about that. That was my goal for the series.
Yeah.
Actually. So, yeah, my main goal was to go through the main quest so I actually know the game a bit more. I know what's vanilla, what's not modded.
Right.
But then also go to Nuka World because I had planned for a playthrough where I play like a Mad Max kind of character.
Right, you said do bandit thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I wanted to just know, how does Nuka World work? How do raider settlements work? Would that even be viable for this playthrough? Yeah, and at this point, I totally forgot about that goal until you brought it up again, just because I'm like so into just going after the main quest and just doing my thing in that world, right? But yeah.
Yeah, I want to do the expansions and the added content like this, the island off the coast that you can go to.
Far Harbor, yeah.
Far Harbor, but there are so many areas now that are still there that I don't know whether to stop doing this. It is becoming a little bit go here, do this very quick story quest, then go back home, deposit your loot, do another one, rinse and repeat. None of the quests are very long now that I'm coming across. It's nothing to go to this specific building, go in. It's essentially a dungeon.
Yeah.
Clear out the dungeon. Each dungeon will have a story, which is appreciated, with whether it's through logs and things, what happened in this abandoned science station. But basically, it's a self-contained kind of dungeon. You run through, get a load of stuff, and go back and deposit it at your settlement. So I'm definitely getting that feeling now where nothing is sending me on multi-part quests here, there, and everywhere. So I'm not sure how long to keep doing that until I go on to an expansion. I think I'll do it for a little while longer and see if I stumble across anything. I did this thing that was kind of multi-part. I call it Cabot House Quest, but I'm sure it's got a particular name, but it's something to do with this family that's in a really posh part of central Boston. They seem to have lots of resources, but you have to go and help them. And that was interesting. That's the kind of last multi-part thing I've done.
Yeah. Did you record that one?
Did I record it? I think I recorded the last part of it. Well, like I was saying, I'm having problems with load times in Boston, so I don't record if I have to go into central Boston.
I'm still like kind of sad that I can't get perfect FPS with my new graphics card either.
Yeah.
Like Boston is just ugh.
I mean, I noticed on the one I've just watched where you were transitioning from inside after you'd killed the Corsair to the rooftop. Even for you, it was taking too long, longer than is usual for a game in terms of load time these days. And for me, it would probably have been twice as long as it took for you to load. So.
And I tend to even cut out the load times. Yeah. There was one. I don't think. Yeah, that's not an episode. Yeah, that one isn't out yet. Where I went to. Wait, was it out yet? I can't remember. I went to Good Neighborhood. and just entering Good Neighborhood, or maybe it was leaving. I think it was leaving Good Neighborhood back into Boston. Took like 3 minutes load time or something.
Yeah.
With that mod I have installed, that makes it slightly faster. It's just not fun. Oh, actually, maybe I didn't have it at that point. I can't remember, but yeah, it's not great.
For the first of all, when I went into Boston and it happened for the first time, it took so long. It was taking so long to load. I thought the game had crashed, and I did that about once or twice before I just sat and waited. And I think there was one occasion where I was coming up from the sewer into central Boston. I think it must have taken 5 minutes to load.
Jeez, yeah.
And it's something to do with, I don't understand this term, but this idea of a memory leak or something, too much is queued in memory or something, it doesn't always happen. That's the thing. Like, I'll do a first transition and then, that transition, fine. I'll go and do some stuff, some story stuff, and then I'll have to transition back to central Boston again. And it's like, it's trying to go from a really busy part of the road to another busy part of the road, and it can't get across the lane fast enough. I don't know. You can tell it's something to do with, it's not just something to do with the static. I'm talking shit now at this point, but I'm sure it's something to do with the certain story point that you're at was causing it to go slow rather than it just be, because I'm sure if I'd gone into that dungeon, then come straight back out, it wouldn't have taken as long to load, because I did that on a few occasions. But then I went in, did a load of story stuff, tried to come back out, and it took 3 minutes to load. So why?
Yeah.
It must be because of all that stuff that had happened inside, and maybe it has to move all that stuff that happened inside somewhere else.
Well, it would unload it, yeah.
Unload it, and then load the new stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't come to me for technical game design things.
But yeah, I mean, luckily it doesn't happen too often for me yet, but it's also, I guess the Bethesda games have an issue often with save bloat, where your save files just become too big because there are too many objects in the world, and that can cause a lot of issues. I had that with my first Horizon playthrough, where one of the mods I use that adds zombies everywhere and stuff, after a while it just seemed to cause so many issues that, I don't know if it was a save file bloat or something else, but when I did a quick save, it took like 7 minutes to save. It was ridiculous. So I'm like, no, I can't.
No,
I can't do
that. But I mean, I think anyone who's played Skyrim or any Bethesda game really soon comes to learn that you don't drop anything on the floor. You must put it in a container. The more stuff that is littering the world, the worse it's going to be for you. So you have to tidy up after yourself. It's good for kids, actually. We should make children play Bethesda games.
Play Fallout.
So they learn how to tidy up after themselves.
Look, little Timmy, if you blow this man's head up and all his pieces lie on the ground, it's going to ruin your save file.
Always put your nuclear bombs in the shelves after you've used them.
That sounds like a thing they would do in a Fallout world, teach kids like this.
Yeah. Don't leave your fat man lying around. Any raider could pick it up. Well, I think that's all good. I do have to be honest, though, at this stage, I feel like I need to add something to get me enthused to play it again. I could become a little bit distracted with other stuff and
like you said, you haven't done Far Harbor yet, so maybe it's a good time to do that now, right?
Maybe,
if you get too bored of the same old quest, maybe just going to a new different area.
Too much rinse and repeat at the moment. I need some goals. I need a goal to focus on. Even in a sandbox game, you do need a direction and something to be aiming for. So, I'll see about maybe adding some expansions and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I'm just I'm hooked on Fallout for some reason. I'm way into it. And maybe I'll burn out on it soon, but I'm currently doing 3 different Fallout playthroughs. It's ridiculous.
Oh, well.
And I started Fallout New Vegas for the first time.
How are you finding that?
I like it quite a bit so far. So different. I mean, I played Fallout 3 back then when it came out, so it's, similar to this one. But just having played Fallout 4 so much now and going back to something like this is so different.
The game Obsidian, is it, that made New Vegas? They have a very good reputation for quality RPGs. Like they did the follow-up to Knights of the Old Republic. They did the first South Park game. And
plus the guys who, or some of the guys who worked on New Vegas were the ones that made Fallout 1 and 2, maybe?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked New Vegas as well. I think I liked it more than Fallout 3. Someone mentioned an interesting bit of trivia regarding the Fallout games, in that New Vegas is the only one where you don't start in a vault. And that hadn't occurred to me before, yeah. That's the only one where it starts differently.
I wonder why they decided to go this way. I mean, other than, I guess, the story reasons. But, yeah, it's interesting.
I think there's something to be said for mixing things up, and with the kind of the way we all have access to people's opinions, and kind of collective opinion forms very quickly on the internet these days. So people get to expect a certain thing, and there are other people reinforcing that expectation. So things like Fallout games always start in a vault become kind of concrete very quickly. And then you find that people are resistant. Well, Fallout always starts in a vault. But why? Just because it's done it 3 times doesn't mean it always has to.
I kind of like that, though, to be honest. I like these little things. It's like the Zelda games. You always start waking up, for example.
Right.
I'm trying to think now if that actually applies to every single Zelda game. That's important. Not counting like the CDI games or something. But I think it's usually Link waking up somewhere. It's always like that. Or like the whole Bioshock, everything starts with a lighthouse kind of deal. I think there's something fun about this, it's just like a internal... I don't know.
No, I know what you mean.
I kind of like that. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it, but I think like you do it over and over and over again, and it's like, well, people think it has to be that way, and that's that. When you're trying to create something interesting, it's hard.
It hinders you. Yeah.
It's harder to do that if someone comes to you with a rule book and says, well, things have to be this way because that's the way they've always been. Well, people do want new things, and it's, you have the way things usually are, and then maybe you want to excite people with something a bit different. So just mixing it up occasionally is not like... people shouldn't see it as heresy, I don't think.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Just...
I didn't even notice at first that you don't start in a vault in New Vegas.
No, it hadn't even occurred to me, really. I just accepted it. But then when I played New Vegas, I wasn't really that knowledgeable about Fallout, so I wouldn't have... That's
a good point, yeah.
I wouldn't have noticed that necessarily.
I only played 3 and then 4, and now Vegas. I haven't really... I think I tried the first one for a little bit, but the first one is tough to get into, man.
Yeah.
Not so much like the mechanics or anything. Well, it's like I don't mind old games or anything, but like it's just there's like they just throw you in. There's no explanation about anything. It's like, okay, figure it out, I guess. Which I kind of like, but at the same time, it's like in a game like this that's just so like these RPGs are always so big, and you have to learn so much and read so much that it gets overwhelming, I find.
It's quite hard nowadays to play one of those games and spend the amount of time sometimes that you just have to do exploring, finding the answer to a particular puzzle or what you need to do next. Like people always... Well, Skyrim dumbed things down by having the arrow that points to the exact guy you need to go to.
Right.
But I think it's... Well, I think it's sometimes to do with how much time you've got to play these things,
Yeah, and I think it changed a lot. Like, we changed, we got older, have less time. Society changed. Like, our attention span changed overall because of social media and stuff. Everything needs to be more quick and compact and fast and efficient.
Yeah, and I mean, wandering through a town, wondering what to do. I'm not sure that's necessarily fun. It was
Yeah,
what you had to do
right.
in those games, and you kind of just accepted it. But then once someone comes up with a solution that cuts out a lot of that tedious, is this the guy I need to talk to? Is this the guy I need to talk to? No, well, just put a quest marker above the guy's head who you need to talk to. Well, okay, I can see like that's taking a little bit of the exploration and the investigation out, but was the investigation and the
It says
exploration,
frustration.
was it actually fun?
Yeah.
I'm not sure it was.
I don't think it was.
No.
It can be really frustrating really quickly if you don't know. The thing I notice about playing New Vegas is that I think not having a voice acted main character is much better for these games.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Amen, sir. I agree.
Amen.
I agree.
I did.
Yeah.
I was so used to the Fallout 4 just voice acting and stuff. And it's on one hand it's like nice as a content creator, maybe because I'm lazy and I don't want to read, so I don't have to read out things. So it was always nice when just let my character say something. But then it's always like the way they say it, or I noticed myself, I read out the lines anyway, but then the character says it again, so it's weird. And in New Vegas, you just you can interpret some of these lines the way you want. Even if your character's line is, I don't know, sure, I'll go take a look. You can still say whatever you want as long as it's going to kind of result in the same result. I don't know. You can just change it up to match it to your character or anything, right? You don't have to say the exact same line. So you can roleplay way more easily. And it just comes naturally, because usually I don't really roleplay, but in these type of games, it just comes natural because you have to almost, because you're reading it out anyway. Yeah. And you just naturally start adding a twist on your alliance or something, depending on what your character is like. Absolutely. So I really like that.
It's always a kind of barrier to player kind of customization and player character having. I mean, I think it works for certain games. Certain games you want it, but for these kind of Bethesda open world games, no, I do away with that. And it has that BioWare problem of the dialogue tree, and it gives you an overview. It's supposed to be a pocket example of the gist of what your character's going to say, and that's what you base your choices on. But so many times you click on it thinking that it means this particular thing, and it'll say something that had some intention or some kind of focus that you were unaware of, or didn't seem to correspond to what you clicked on. So it doesn't quite work. I don't think it quite works as a concept, I think it's a flawed idea. Yeah. And it's just something that's the best way we can do this at this stage. But actually having, the little dialogue choice doesn't actually represent what your character's going to say. That's a little bit of jank, and it's there in Fallout 4, and it's in a lot of Bethesda BioWare games.
Yeah, and I thought about that the other day too, and I think the reason why it is these short answers is because your character is fully voice acted.
Right.
Because at this point, otherwise, because what I usually do is install the mod that shows you the full lines of text.
Right.
Because I hate these stupid 1-2 word answers. Like, okay, not yet, but it's like, fuck you, guy, I'm not going to do that yet, or something, right? Like, it's like, whoa, that's not what I meant to say. But then when you have these full lines of text, you do end up reading them out, and then your character says the same as
it's pointless.
Compared to it's pointless. But if you only have not yet, you would read that out, but then your character says something different, so it's not repetitive. So I kind of see why they did that, because it's a fully voiced acted character and stuff. But it doesn't work well for me. I had that problem when I played Detroit Become Human too. It was great at first, but then the further the game went to the end, or towards the end of the game, the text choices became shorter and shorter, and it's just I don't know what this means. Like the answer, like you don't pick, hey, you did a good job or something. You pick optimistic or realistic. Like these are the answers. And it's like, okay, well, what does that mean in that context? I don't know. So I'm like afraid to use any of these. So yeah, I totally get that. I get why they do the short answers, but I much more prefer the long answers and just not have a voice acted character. Because it does feel like you're playing Nate or Nora in Fallout 4 as opposed to you're playing yourself or your character.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. The only benefit in terms of the dialogue tree and the voice acting system is that I much prefer kind of cinematic dialogue to kind of more novel dialogue. Like if you look at the early Fallout games, the amount of text in those is more like a novel, whereas the later games it's more cinematic. They're lines of dialogue in a script, so they don't take as long, and it's not like reading a novel. So I think that's what, for me, that's one of the positive offshoots of thinking in terms of spoken dialogue. But I would prefer them to just take the voice away and keep that cinematic dialogue there for me to read.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the thing. Like, I don't want dialogue I don't want a voice for my character, but I love it when other characters have a voice because I don't need to read it.
I think the South Park games do a really good commentary on that. It's a really funny insight into the idea of the silent protagonist and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but it works because games are unique in that respect in terms of an entertainment medium. They're the thing where you put yourself at the center of it, and if it is yourself, and in a role-play game, you want to have as much chance to express yourself as possible, and taking your voice away or replacing your voice with someone else's voice, that's kind of in conflict with these kind of your character at the center type games.
Totally.
I think for something like The Witcher, where you're kind of like, you're assuming the role of Geralt.
Right.
And everyone kind of knows that going in. So your expectations are different, and it's fine.
And I totally like it there. Like, please give me a voice there, because I am playing this character. Yeah. But as opposed to I'm making myself a character.
And I really felt that they would do that in Cyberpunk. And I think you will have I think they've confirmed that you'll have a voice. But there's quite a lot of customization, apparently. You're not locked in. I think I know they have a male and a female version, but within that you have a lot of opportunity to customize. Yeah. And so I'm interested to see how that pans out. How much of it will be like the Fallout style, where you have the voices but you can customize the look, or will you be a silent protagonist? I don't know if they've confirmed that or not.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure if they talked about, or I haven't heard anything about them talking about the voice acting for a main guy. But I'm guessing if they would give it a voice actor, then it's pretty much similar to Fallout 4.
Yeah.
But the good thing is that Todd Howard, I think is his name, right?
Yeah, Todd Howard is the...
mentioned that he thought that the fully voice acted main character didn't work well in Fallout 4 either. There's a chance.
That's reassuring to hear, because
yeah,
that was what a lot of fans thought. In terms of what else to talk about, I don't know if it's of any interest to anyone who's not putting stuff online, but I kind of find it interesting when I hear content creators talk about content creation.
Yeah.
So maybe we could talk a bit about that, because
sure,
you and I have talked about the way YouTube works and the fact that once one of your videos in our case, we do gaming. You do a particular video that does really well, that will generally be on a particular game. And once that happens, YouTube says, aha, you do Minecraft videos. And from that point on, if you don't do a Minecraft video, or for me, a Skyrim video, it doesn't promote it because it likes you to do one thing. And the kind of frustration of that, as gaming enthusiasts, we don't just like one game, we like lots of games, and how to overcome that. And one of the things that I was thinking was that I would start a new channel and just focus on, I don't think I could ever just focus on one game, but I thought maybe try, because I really like turn-based strategy, as you know, and I've tried to put Skyrim on my channel. It doesn't work, mainly because no one who knows of my channel is interested in XCOM. I meant XCOM. I said, did I say Minecraft?
You said Skyrim.
Oh God.
You tried to put Skyrim on your channel. I was like,
Yeah. So I did that. I've been just playing these strategy games and really enjoying them because I like them as much as I like Skyrim. And I just don't put them on my channel because the people who come to my channel aren't interested, and YouTube doesn't help it get to the people who are interested in strategy. Yeah. That's been a lot of fun. And the thing with doing strategy games is, in terms of content creation, the path to what you do is there. It's really simple. Like take Fallout 4, for instance. You have to decide what quest you're going to do and where you're going to go in this episode, what you're going to do and what you're going to say and what your focus is going to be. When you're doing turn-based gaming or strategy gaming, generally speaking, what you're doing is laid out in front of you and you just do it. You have the battle map, you have the enemy, you have your team, and you just try and win.
Right.
That's it. And I'm really enjoying the kind of structure of doing that. And I remember of the little bit of XCOM that I did, I always like that kind of, sometimes I like the windiness of Skyrim and Fallout, but I also like the structure of something like XCOM. So I've been finding that very absorbing and like cranking out videos really fast. Just so I've got like 40 videos done ready for this new channel. And
oh, geez.
So I'm just going to do like a video as soon as I start this channel. I think by the time I get to the end of this game, it's going to be like a 60 episode playthrough of this game. And I'm really enjoying it because no one's watching because the channel hasn't been published yet.
Yeah.
And I'm just doing it because I would be playing this game anyway. And it's completely new to me, a new way to approach content creation that I've never done before. And I think I'm really interested to see how it goes, and maybe no one will watch, but
you already done it. That's interesting because I had the same exact thought the other day. It's like, okay, maybe instead of recording and putting it up, why don't I just play through the entire game while recording it?
Yeah.
And then start uploading, right? It would fix my problem of not finishing a series or game, right? And if I don't finish it, I don't have to upload it. But also the same thing you just said of like, you're enjoying it because no one has commented on it yet. I think that comes up for me a lot. I noticed that, so the Fallout 4 main quest stuff, sorry, going back to Fallout 4, but you know, there's just a series I did. I recorded, I don't even know, like 14 videos or something, right? Not crazy as you, but 40, but like 14 or something. Well, somewhat longer episodes. And that was a blast. And then I started uploading it, and then even though I figured probably no one is going to watch this, the realization of no one is actually watching this is like, maybe I shouldn't do it then, right? That comes always back, and then it feels like kind of like, not as fun anymore. That's kind of interesting that you started doing that too, though.
Yeah, and I think because I just wanted a break from thinking about like strategy and YouTube and what to put on the channel, what not to put on the channel. It felt like a kind of a, I want a break from all of that, and just, I wanted to play this game anyway.
Yeah.
And let's try recording it at the same time. And I'm not, like we were saying before, worries about what you say, how you say it, whether it's interesting, whether it's not. It's kind of like thinking less about that and thinking like more kind of like everyone approaches putting videos online for different reasons and in different ways. I definitely approached it in terms of I want people to watch this stuff. Whereas I think some people don't, and they just do it to share gameplay. And if someone wants to watch it, brilliant. If no one watches it, doesn't matter. I haven't put any expectations into it. And I've never done that before. And I just wanted to try it. I just wanted to like, don't try and do this with the intention that we want loads of people to watch. Just record it because you're enjoying it and you want to share the video. Yeah. And don't worry about people watching it. And I'm enjoying the, like I say, just doing it and the structure of doing it. And with it being turn-based strategy, I don't have to put much thought into what the next episode is going to be. The game has already solved that problem for me. The next episode will be the next battle. And it will be as long as the battle takes, it will end, and then the next episode is the next battle, and the next battle, and the next battle. And yeah, I just really enjoying it. It's such a nice contrast.
Yeah. Do you think though, like you said, you're recording it just for recording it and sharing it, you're not expecting views, that's not what you're like aiming for. Do you think though that if you were to do the same thing, but you started uploading it while you're still playing the game, do you think if people wouldn't watch it, you'd still feel the same about it though? Or do you think that would also like kind of make you feel bad that no one is actually watching it?
Yeah, I think I would start feeling a little bit bad because when it's not that you expect a lot of people to watch, but that just the fact that you are uploading them in such a fashion that you can't help but look between episodes who's watched the previous episode. And no matter how disciplined you are or how realistic you are about the chances of people watching, just the fact that there's 0 there will affect your mood.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking for this type of content, do it loads in advance and don't wait for, it means that you can't respond and it can't be as interactive. But I think in between the kind of big playthroughs where you just record a load of videos and then you put them out later, you can do stuff that responds to specific things people have said. Maybe not if someone does come along and they give you like a comment on your video, maybe you can't respond in the next video, but you could respond in like a vlog or a specific like subscriber response video or a subscriber Q&A thing. There are ways you can respond and just let people know, look, this is the way I record and it means this. Like I listen to a podcast at the minute that is all about, it's a Star Trek podcast, very funny, and the two guys record sometimes a month's worth of episodes in advance, and they're very upfront about that, and they say, at the time of recording, we don't know what the reception has been to the previous episode because we're recording these one after another. So it's a while before they can respond to what people have said, but that kind of seems to work for them. And I've heard a lot of content creators say something similar, like the Hello Internet guys that I keep mentioning. They were very upfront with their podcast by saying, before we published the first podcast, we'd recorded 4 podcasts in advance so that we could put them out in a timely fashion so that people, when people discovered the first one, they weren't waiting too long for the second one. But also it got us started and without it all being too public too quickly. And I think it probably happens a lot more than people realize. Content creators create material well in advance,
Way in advance, yeah.
and of when it's seen by people, generally speaking. And I think that's how you kind of stay sane, because just if nothing else, it creates distance between you and the product. Because if all your energy goes into one video, you post it up, you're really enthused about it, and you're waiting for the response. And if the response is not good, then you're a little bit crushed, and it's a little bit demoralizing. But say if you created that video 2 weeks previously, and you're already working on something completely different, your emotional connection is more separated by time.
That makes sense, yeah.
Your hopes are not all pinned on this brilliant thing you've created, because you did it 2 weeks ago and you're already working on the new thing. I think that works for me anyway.
Yeah, it does make sense. It does also put a distance though between you and your audience, I feel like.
Right.
At the same time. Just because he's, like I said, he can't directly respond. And I think in a podcast, for example, it's not too bad, right? Because there's nothing that relies on the user input really, unless it's like, send in your questions or send in your comments or whatever, we read them out. Sure. But if it's like a playthrough or something, like a blind playthrough or something, and people are like, people like to tell you all the things, right? And usually it comes from a place of trying to help rather than trying to spoil it for someone or being like mean or something. It's like, hey, you should do this, you should do this, you should do this, right? And if you had like a playthrough where like you record the entire playthrough and there was this one really obvious thing that you kind of missed or something that bugged a lot of people, there's no way to fix that, right? Because like people would watch the episode, they would comment on it, but all these comments mean nothing. All this feedback means nothing because you can't change it. You already recorded it. You already finished it. And I wonder if that's like really frustrating for people.
Maybe I could,
if you can't adjust. But at the same time, maybe that's not a problem because you're not maybe there to please people, right? You're just like, this is how I played. Take it or leave it.
I suppose. I think this gets into the idea of like the way people consume media and what. In specifically what YouTube is for and why people come to YouTube over other types of media. So YouTube, is it a thing that is for social interaction, or is it a thing that is just a platform for entertainment like television? And I think the answer is it's both. And you decide what type of content yours is. There's no reason why you can't have a very successful YouTube channel that doesn't do any interaction. It's just entertainment for people to watch, and they can comment and talk to each other, but the creator never really directly talks. And then there are other channels that are very subscriber and interaction focused. And I think you can do both, and it just comes down to what type of person you are.
Yeah.
Do you like a lot of interaction? Do you like a lot of suggestions? Do you get a lot out of that? Does it enhance the process of creating the content for you? Then do that. But if you're the kind of person, and I fall more into this category, I think I don't necessarily want to talk that much with people about what I'm producing. If I produce an entertaining video that people enjoy, that's fine. I feel like I've done my job. What I want to do is create an entertaining video that people enjoy, and it's nice to hear from people that I've succeeded in that.
Yeah.
But I'm not kind of craving the communication aspect that much. I've always felt like I want to produce a product that entertains you. So I feel like I err more towards this is like producing TV side of things than this is a social contract between me and my subscribers. But at the same time, I understand that it is different to TV, and having access and being able to talk to the person who's producing the stuff you're watching is really cool, and you don't want to ignore that. And it is a good thing to interact, and it's nice, and you learn things as well. You don't want to ignore it. I mean, the amount of stuff, man, the having a YouTube channel and doing Skyrim videos is like having your own personal sort of interactive wiki. It's amazing.
Yes.
They're like, you mention something in a video and someone will say, this is the mod you need. I said something the other day, like, I would really like it if my character got dirty over time. So when she's out,
I was using that mod.
Yeah, traveling, she gets dirty and muddied up, and someone came along. This is the mod you need. It's like, it's amazing, really. So you don't want to ditch that entirely. But like I say, I think there are ways to do it. There are probably ways to have your cake and eat it. You can be interactive, but also produce in a way that works for you. And if that means like you're able to produce a ton of videos, okay, maybe it's not as interactive, but you've produced a ton of videos that people might like to watch. And if you'd done it a different way, you wouldn't have produced them. Does that
I guess
make
it's a bit of a compromise. It does make sense. Yeah. I think it's like you said, it comes down to what kind of creator you are, what you want to achieve, and a bit of a compromise. Like for me, I think I'm like as a creator, I'm different as a consumer. When I watch videos on YouTube, I'm like really passive. I don't comment on people's videos most of the time, which is terrible because I want people to comment on my videos. It's very hypocritical. But I usually just like, it's just like, I worked all day. I just want to watch something entertaining like TV. Like I just put on an episode. I don't care if someone made a mistake or whatever. I just, watch it,
right.
People move on.
That's exactly the way I use YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah. As a creator, I really love it though when there's feedback. But the feedback comes in several ways. Like you said, it could just be someone saying, "Hey, this was funny." It could be someone giving you useful tips. It could just be someone leaving a like. That already kind of shows that someone actually enjoyed it. I always find like the view count means really nothing because someone clicking on your video and immediately closing it is a view. It's like, okay, they didn't actually watch it. If you look at your retention time, it's like, super spiky at the beginning, then goes down to like 10% or something. So I always find like likes is a way better ratio of seeing if someone enjoyed it, but it's still not there because people, I don't know what it is, but people don't leave likes. Even if you remind them, they just don't do it. I mean, some do, of course, but like for some reason, the majority doesn't do it.
No, a tiny percentage of people like, if you look at the videos, like videos with millions of views, and they'll have like 3,000 likes.
Usually it's like the 10% rule.
Yeah,
it's like 10%. Usually, what's considered a healthy, I guess, channel is always like if your videos have 10% the views of your subscriber count, and if your like ratio is 10% of your views. That's kind of the golden rule.
I thought 10%. Well, no, that's right. Okay, yeah. I'm thinking about my most popular video, and that's bang on. It's 10%, pretty much spot on.
Yeah, it seems to be that kind of number for some reason. I don't know what it is because I know that people watched it. Like there's people who have been around for a while. They leave a comment on it, like a really nice comment and stuff, but no like, right? So it's like, okay, I don't know. I'm just, it's fine. It's fine. I'm just really curious what it is. Even if you remind people in the video, if you enjoyed it, leave a like, whatever. It doesn't happen. I'm just curious what's the thought behind it, right?
I think, if you take the time to comment, do you also like?
I like every single video I watch.
Right. But you don't always comment. Because I think what people...
I don't really comment, yeah.
Yeah, I think people are either liking or commenting. If they do one, they feel like they don't have to do the other.
Interesting.
They pick one or the other. Sometimes I like a video because I can't think of a comment, but I want to indicate that I like it. So it's handy in that way sometimes.
Yeah, I wonder what it is. It could be that if someone comments,
like you think like you don't say to people don't forget to leave a like and a comment. We say don't forget to leave a like or a comment. We give people
Right. I don't even mention comments.
Yeah.
I always just say likes because I don't leave comments. I shouldn't ask people to do it.
Generally
or
speaking,
remind people to do it.
What I've heard people they phrase
Mm-hmm.
it in terms of you have the option to do one or the other. So
It's usually the don't forget to leave a like, comment, or subscribe or something, right?
yeah,
And it's usually or, yeah.
yeah.
And sometimes and or whatever. But yeah.
I don't know. I mean, in terms of the comments and stuff, I kind of don't always. It's 50-50 for me, whether sometimes I really don't want there to be any comments when I go and check my YouTube channel, because the comment thing is not universally a good thing. It's not like you're getting a birthday card that you're going to be grateful for. It could be someone telling you you're a shithead.
Sure.
And so I don't see that little flag indicating you've got a comment as something I'm necessarily excited about. I often feel more kind of like, do I want to click on this?
Interesting. I'm way too excited about that.
I kind of view it as not altogether happy prospect. I mean, maybe I get more harsh comments than you do, but
yeah, I don't get too many. No, not too many comments in general. It's always sad when you see like, oh, someone left the comments, and it's like that no copyright music account. It's like, hey, your videos are awesome. That would be better if you get some of our music, blah blah blah. Like
weird that kind of spam.
Like, so sad. It's like, why?
Yeah, it's weird.
Nothing is more crushing than a dislike for some reason.
I find it easier to create and put stuff online if I don't put too much stock in comments. So I think basically because I once heard Stephen Fry talking about someone asked him if he reads reviews, and he was saying, no, I don't read reviews because it's just too painful to read someone criticizing what you've done. And I don't put too much stock in them these days for that reason. But then also, I don't put too much stock in it when people say my stuff is great either. I'm just kind of doing it. And don't let it sway you too much one way or the other. So if people are nasty, learn how to deal with that. If people are if people are praising you, don't put too much stock in that either. Just find a happy medium where you're kind of doing your thing and you're aware of what people are saying, but you're not letting it sway you too much one way or the other. Yeah. And
I think that's difficult though.
It's
Maybe
incredibly
you just have more
difficult.
self-esteem than me, but comments are my fuel, man.
Right.
Like,
okay.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, that's nice. It's weird though, like negative comments don't affect me as much as a dislike, for example, just because I hate not knowing why someone dislikes something. If you tell me, like a negative comment is either someone just insulting you, it's like, okay, whatever, that I don't care about, or it's someone letting you know why they don't dislike it, and those I find still valuable. But if someone like leaves a dislike and moves on, it's like, okay, but why?
Yeah, this
like,
asshole.
I want to know why.
On your video, your Angry King video, there's one dislike at the moment. It's like
on which one?
Angry. Let's play Fallout 4 main story. Angry King.
Oh yeah.
It's like, what? Why?
Like,
why would you dislike this video?
Just move on.
The thing is, it doesn't. That kind of thing is like when you should be. Don't pay any attention to that whatsoever. Because it can just be someone who clicks on a video and all they're thinking is, oh, I thought this was a different quest. It's not the quest I was looking for. Dislike the video. They don't dislike you or dislike your voice or dislike what you're doing. It just wasn't what they were looking for. And it can be something like that you take to heart and it's nothing.
You know how much this affects me though? You want to hear like a sad secret.
Always.
So that particular video currently has 1 like and 1 dislike.
Mm-hmm.
That 1 like is me countering it.
Well, now
so I was like, I don't want this to be just downvoted. I'm gonna like it because I like my video.
Well, now it has 2 likes.
Oh, you.
But that's the thing, you see. I would have watched that video and I don't I'm terrible. Like, I don't like and comment, but it's not because I don't like the videos and I don't understand how important it is to comment. It's just I don't put much stock in likes and
Yeah,
comments
that's totally fine too.
myself. So I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, uh, you know. And anyway, I talk to you, like I can talk to you on a podcast about that particular video, so you know I've watched it. Whereas if your only indication is that a comment, then maybe it's more important to comment. But I don't know.
No, yeah, it's just I don't know. It's just that's more a problem of me for me though. Like that's my problem. That's not like a problem with people not commenting or something. It's just my perception of it should change. I shouldn't be affected by this as much as I am. I think it's the ideal situation.
Yeah.
You can't really expect anyone to do anything anyway. It's just like a nice bonus to have, right? And that goes back to your thing of like, I think it's kind of just an expectation thing, or a compromise. If this is really something that would affect me as much, then recording the entire game first and then uploading it later would probably be better, even if I lose out on the interaction. There's still ways to interact with people, when people actually comment on it and talk about a game mechanic or something in the game they liked. You can still respond to it, even though you can't do it in the video next time.
Right.
Maybe it wouldn't be as like affecting you as much with the whole if someone watched it, if no one watched it, blah 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 blah.
I think having a big separation of time between when you finish a thing and when people are going to see it is that's helped me a lot.
That does seem
because it just helps. I was so demoralized when I was doing those animation things because I put so much time and effort into them. And when only a handful, and I would post it and I would sit and wait to see if anyone watched it or commented or liked it. And because I put so much emotional weight on that because it took a lot of effort and time.
It's a passion thing, right?
Right. And you post it straight away. But I think I've changed a lot since then, and now I wouldn't do that. I would let that animation, in fact I did. The last animation that I did for the NapYet channel sat on my computer for 6 months.
Was that a pre-order one?
The pre-order one.
Yeah.
And by the time I posted that, I knew no one was going to watch it. It was probably the last animation thing I was going to do for the channel. I didn't have I'd already come to terms with that. Then posted it, and I was able to kind of move on. And I think I learned there. It's just do stuff. Don't put too much expectation on them, and then post them up with enough of a gap between finishing and publication that you've moved on. You've moved on emotionally at that point.
That makes sense. I think I've done that with something before. I can't remember what it was, but I had that too. That same feeling of I don't care as much about this video, but I still want to put it up just so it's up because I did it. Might as well.
And then I kind of feel, like you say, sometimes you can't interact as much, and sometimes you feel bad because people will be nice in comments and they say, "Oh, I really enjoyed this," and that's nice to hear. But because you're really focusing on the thing you're doing at the moment, you don't get as much out of that nice comment as you would have, but it means you're just motoring along and doing the next thing, and as it should be, really. I think I just feel like that's a better way to work, more broadly speaking, and I've never done it just as extreme as this. Like, pick a strategy game and just like churn out all those episodes.
I'm excited to see that once you start that.
I don't think it's nothing to get excited about. That's the thing. It's like it's just me talking really.
That's what I get excited about when I see a video.
Yeah, but really, really boring. I'm not trying to do anything interesting at all. I'm just talking about the game and playing it, and
that's the content I like. That's what I watch most of the time. There's so many people where I tried when I started Fallout 4 again, I just tried to find other people playing it. But there's so many content creators that have so much of a put on show voice thing.
Yeah.
I don't like that at all. I just want to see someone, just a normal person, play through the game and talk about what they're currently thinking.
Right.
There was this like one girl I found online. She was doing Fallout 3 and New Vegas, and I started to really like her stuff because she was like, just a normal person playing the game. But then she has this thing where she doesn't stop talking because she's afraid to have pauses in her dialogue, because everyone always teaches you don't stop talking. If you pause for too long, that's bad. People will click away.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe she just talks like this, but it just feels like that is what she's trying to do, because you can kind of hear it of like what the conversation is about. It's not like something she's actually like. She's not actually like it's not a thought process or anything. Like at one point, she just starts to say things, right? Like for the sake of saying things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a bit of a shame. I wish that wasn't a thing, because it kind of started to bother me after a while. So I'm not really like sticking around too much. So I always love it when people just do the thing, just take a break in between talking. Your XCOM stuff was super interesting to me because you kind of explained certain things, or what your thought on some strategies were.
Yeah.
And that's cool.
Yeah, I veer between the two different types. Like sometimes I want something that's really kind of structured and crafted piece of entertainment, and then other times, I mentioned before, my favorite guy to watch back in the day was he doesn't do many videos anymore, but Jimolf. He's like a guy from Sweden, and he has a really relaxed. He says, "Hello, gamers. This is Jimolf. Welcome to XCOM 2." And he just like has such a chill voice. I was like, I love listening to his voice, and he never like goes over the top or anything. And he talks about the game, and his strategy in the game is really good. Sometimes I like that as well. It's like what kind of mood you're in, particular times.
Well, it's cool that you have the both ends of your styles right now. You have your heavily edited and your funny bits, and then your more relaxed stuff. So for yourself probably as a viewer and maybe as a creator as well. But maybe what I should do is just decide which one to do. But then you get bored, don't you? If you're doing one particular thing. No, I don't think you need to decide. You just do whatever you feel like, and then if you feel more like the edited stuff, you do the edited. If you feel more like do the relaxed stuff, you do the relaxed stuff. It's just you gotta have that balance, I guess.
How are you finding? Are you still enthused about like doing Minecraft, or do you mainly do that now because for the people who come to the Serious Creeper channel?
No, I think since I started the second channel, I feel much less stressed about it, and I don't do it just for the sake of doing it anymore. So like the last episode was a week ago or longer, and I'm slightly feeling like, oh god, I need to upload stuff, but at the same time it's like, no, I'm not uploading anything else on the channel, so it's not like pushing people away or something. It's just like, okay, I'll do it when I do it. Otherwise it's gonna suck anyway. And I keep apologizing in my videos for taking breaks and stuff, but everyone was like, no, just just take your time, just chill, we'll wait.
I think you start to some of those expectations come from yourself, don't they?
Yeah.
You feel like you need to keep a schedule and stuff once people start to arrive.
For sure.
But I think I've arrived there with my channel. It's interesting that you're there with that one. I'm kind of there with the Skyrim stuff as well. I'm taking my foot off the gas with it a little bit. I think this one that I've done this time, this heavily kind of edited.
The farmer
thing. This will probably be the last time I do something like that. Because it just takes too much time for what it is. But to do one 10-minute video takes me. So I'll either do pull back entirely and just do that type of video, or do less edited videos. So when I was creating that farmer playthrough, I was thinking this is probably the last time I'm going to try this. I've tried it a few times to repeat the success of that initial edited Skyrim video, and it's not working. Each time I've done it, I tried to do it with with the Napjeet thing, a heavily edited sort of roleplay type thing. I tried it with the permafrost thing, to basically just each time trying to emulate the success of that initial Skyrim video. And each time I do it, the returns are lesser and less and less. It's weird. Like the first one has 45,000 views. The first one in the Napjeet has 8,000. The first one in the permafrost has 4,000. It's like every time I attempt to repeat it, the returns are fewer. So it's not working. Whatever happened with that first video is nothing to do with the quality of the editing, because my editing has got better. My ability to do YouTube videos has got better. So whatever happened with that first video, maybe it was just fluke. I don't know what it was. But
well, how's like the following ups of that first series? Like if the first one had like 40,000, what about the second and third episode?
That's about what it should be. They say like the first one will have 5 times what the second one will have, and it's basically about there. So I think the second one has like 8,000, 9,000 views.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of like luck involved too. I mean, your first one it had like the survival stuff in it, right? Like just tag wise, name wise. It's a more generic character maybe than your specialized Khajiit or the specialized permafrost thing that could play into it. It could be just the timing was right because somewhere on the internet Skyrim was trending.
Yeah, and I mean, like, you can never really know, can you? What I took away from that video was, well, it was the first video where I put some effort into the editing and was playing with mods and trying to come up with a new type of gameplay. So I'll try and do that again. But it could have been something else. It could have been just, like you say, it could have been fluke. It could have been something like people weren't responding to the editing at all. They were just responding to the fact that you were really relaxed and eating your breakfast while you were doing it. That's occurred to me a few times because I was in the first episode. I think I was eating cereals while I was doing it, and you can't get any more kind of relaxed than that, can you? So it's occurred to me a few times that the lessons I thought that was teaching me could be wrong. All right, guys. Well, thank you for listening to our rambling podcast. We do ramble an awful lot, and I feel like that's good because the last thing that we did was very focused with the E3. So this is just us rambling, and I enjoyed it.
It was a lot of fun.
And some stuff might still be in the podcast. Some might have been edited out.
Yeah, sometimes we cut out some parts. Otherwise, it might be too long.
This is a 2 hour and 40-minute podcast at this stage.
Yeah, I'm curious how long it's actually going to be then. Probably around 2 hours, eh?
Maybe. All right. Well, thank you for joining me again. I really appreciate it. And it's great to chat.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And next time, you can be the leader of the podcast and I can just
I'll
listen.
be the leader.
All right, guys. Bye, internet people.
Goodbye.
Oh,
what?
Check out Serious Creeper's channel because he never does any shout-outs. And I think he should. So
but which channel, huh? Which channel out of my 2 channels?
If you type in
no, I'm just kidding.
Serious Creeper
boy.
Into YouTube, you will get
you find the second one.
A selection you do, a selection of channels. You get Serious Creeper and then you get Serious Creeper V2. And the Serious Creeper number 1.
Who the hell is that third one down there?
Yeah, he's a
with the red face.
Swine. I have clicked on him before.
Joined April 13th, 2017.
Report.
He has
no videos.
Unbelievable.
Why would someone do that? I think that's you. Are you
probably don't?
Are you just messing about?
No, it's not me. That would be funny though.
Are you Serious Creeper on Twitter?
With an underscore in the middle because someone else has it. So it's always someone, man. Someone always takes it. Same with your Napjeet.
Yeah, if I become hugely famous and known for my insightful gameplays and commentary on video games, I will get that guy's Twitter who's got the Nap Yet name.
Yeah, I just saw the other one that has mine is suspended. I wonder if I can get his account.
Oh, maybe if it's
do that soon before the podcast comes out.
All right, so check out Serious Creeper's channels on YouTube. The first one on the list is his original channel, which is more Minecrafty, but there's other stuff on there as well, like Fallout Horizon and other games. And the second channel is more eclectic with lots of different types of games. He's done God of War and
more Fallout,
but also Rage and Metro Last Light. Is it?
Yeah, it's a pretty new channel. There isn't too much yet.
Cool.
So awkward. Also check out Napyet's channel.
Yes, just type Napyet into
all kinds of funny goodness.
I think actually, let's just check. If you type Napyet into
yours is there
into Google. NAPYET. You get the Napyet channel. You get the Napyet Twitter. You get the Napyet
Napyet looks back, and then forward your videos and stuff. Yeah, look at that. Your Twitter shows up. Have you tried a coffee nap yet? That's not you.
I'm going to put Serious Creeper into... Yeah, Serious Creeper into Google. Serious Creeper channel is first.
Why does... When I start typing Serious, it also shows Serious Coffee. What's up with coffee in my timeline? I guess it would make sense.
I guess this is a good example of why you should choose a stupid name, because we both have stupid names, but because we're the only ones with those names, they come up first on Google. So there you go.
That's true. There you go. That's YouTube Lessons 101.
That's how you do it. All right, guys. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.